Hello everyone. Today I am going to continue with the same topic, circulatory system, and I'll be taking up the topic structure of the heart. Now when we start with the structure of the heart, some of the things are very important which must be very much clear in your head. They are, first of all, the outer covering of the heart. Outer covering of heart is called pericardium. Pericardium, it's not a single layer, it's a set of two layers. Between those two layers is filled a fluid known as pericardial fluid. Now if I just give you an overview of it, so if this be the pericardial layers, between these pericardial layers there is a fluid which is known as pericardial fluid. So I'll be telling you the functions of both. This is pericardium and this fluid is the pericardial fluid. Now as I have already told you that pericardium is the outer covering of the heart, so its function is that it protects the heart from any kind of mechanical injury. And now here pericardial fluid is present between the two pericardial layers. The function of pericardial fluid is to prevent any kind of injury, any kind of damage to pericardium due to friction. Now I'll explain you this. As we all know that our heart is pumping 24/7, it keeps on pumping, it contracts, it relaxes, it contracts, it relaxes. And these pericardial layers, they are present like this. It makes a sandwich. Two pericardial layers, between them is the pericardial fluid. When the heart will contract and relax continuously, these layers will rub against each other. Now if the pericardial fluid will not be there, so these layers will keep on rubbing, and due to friction there will be a hole in pericardium which will lead to death of the person. To avoid it, to overcome it, there is a sandwich like arrangement here where pericardial fluid is present in the center. When the pericardium, it rubs like this due to contraction and relaxation, the pericardial fluids, it does not allow the pericardium to rupture or to get teared off. Now after this is the first part, first topic, first point, that the outer protective covering of heart is pericardium. Between the two pericardial layers is the pericardial fluid. Function of pericardium is to provide protection to the heart. Function of pericardial fluid is to prevent any kind of injury to pericardium due to friction. Now concluding this, we'll be jumping up to the next topic, next part of this topic, that comes out to be the structure of heart. Heart basically comprises up of 4 chambers. Almost everyone knows this, that it has 4 chambers. I'll be drawing the structure of heart and simultaneously I'll be explaining the structure, as well as we'll be doing the circulation of blood through the heart. Now starting up with the diagram, it's very easy to make but it needs practice. Starting up, now heart we all know as it is placed in the center of the heart. This should be very much clear to you because most of the time it is said that the heart is placed on the left side. It's not placed on the left side, it's placed in the center of the heart. I'll give you the reason for this also in the end of the video. Now I'll be labeling the diagram. You please pay attention to the labeling also, and what all are the functions of the parts which we have labeled, that also will be discussed here. I'll label it with some other color. Now the first blood vessel which enters in the heart. Now we'll be discussing the circulation also. What happens in the body? First of all the deoxygenated blood. Now I'll make it very much clear. There is a difference between deoxygenated blood and impure blood. Most of the people, they are in a habit to write impure blood. Impure blood, when we say it's impure blood, it means it has more amount of urea. We are not talking about carbon dioxide here. We are talking only about the urea. The blood which goes to kidney for purification is known as impure blood. But when we say that the blood is deoxygenated, it means it has less of oxygen and more of carbon dioxide. So please, I'll suggest that you don't use this term impure. Instead, you use the term deoxygenated. Now, what will happen here? What happens in our body? All the deoxygenated blood is carried by the veins, and finally these veins get attached to the blood vessels which have to enter in the heart now. Those are known as the vena cavas. Vena cava. Now, it is bifurcated into two categories: anterior vena cava and posterior vena cava. Anterior means our heart is there, the part which carries or brings the blood from head to heart is the anterior vena cava, anterior part, or it is also known as superior vena cava. You can term it anyways. So anterior vena cava here, it brings the blood from head to the heart, from head, upper part of the body to the heart, and other is the inferior vena cava, or you can say posterior vena cava, which carries the blood from the lower, from the toes to the heart. Both these vena cavas, they pour the blood into the first chamber of the heart, that is the right auricle. Now, one thing which I want to state here is that we have drawn this diagram. Now, if we label a general diagram, so how will we label? This is the right part of the right side of the diagram, and this is the left side. But whenever we are drawing the structure of the heart, how will we label? Suppose I stand here, so this is my right and this is my left. So we'll label it like that only. Means the right portion is the right side, your right side, when you are like this. Okay, so right auricle, and here it will be the left auricle, here will be right ventricle, here it will be here it will be left ventricle. Clear? This part is clear, that you will label as it is present in your body, not according to the page. Okay? Now, this is right auricle. Now what did I tell you? That these vena cavas will pour the deoxygenated blood collected from the body into the right auricle, which is the uppermost chamber of the heart, and which collects the deoxygenated blood here. Now, this upper chamber and this lower chamber are separated by valves here. If I say what are valves, if I tell you what are valves, valves are just like pockets. They are like pockets. Suppose I tell you, suppose like this. This is a valve. Okay? It is, when it is closed, it's in this position. When it is open, it's like this. It's closed, it's open. It's closed, it's open. Now, the valve which is present here between right auricle and right ventricle is the tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve. Why is it known as tricuspid? The reason for this is that it has 3 pockets. That is why it is known as tricuspid valve. Now, this valve, it is closed when the blood is entering in the right auricle. As soon as the blood enters in the right auricle, these valves, they open up and let the blood go into the right ventricle. Okay? When the blood is there in right auricle, this valve is closed. As soon as this right auricle is filled, totally filled with blood, this valve will open and the blood will flow into the right ventricle. Okay? Now, from here, the blood has to move through this blood vessel into the other part of the body, that is the lungs. Now, what is the name of this blood vessel? This is pulmonary artery. Now, here I want to state that we all know that the arteries, they carry oxygenated blood and the veins, they carry deoxygenated blood, except one blood vessel, that is pulmonary artery is the blood vessel which carries the blood, which carry deoxygenated blood, whereas pulmonary vein is the blood vessel which carries oxygenated blood. So these 2 exceptions are there in arteries and veins. Now what will happen here? The blood will move from right auricle to right ventricle, passing through tricuspid valve, And now from right ventricle it will be passing through the pulmonary artery into the lungs. But here also there is a valve present at the opening. You can say the valve which is present at the base of pulmonary artery is the pulmonary semilunar valve. It is pulmonary semilunar valve. Pulmonary, why pulmonary? Because it is present at the base of pulmonary artery. Otherwise, there are two semilunar valves. One is present at the base of pulmonary artery and other is present at the base of aorta. That I will come to this topic in next part. Now this pulmonary semilunar valve, it opens up and the blood moves through pulmonary artery into the lungs. Now what happens in the lungs? The carbon dioxide from the blood is taken up and oxygen is given in the blood. Whatever oxygen is there in the lungs, they are passed into that oxygen is passed into the blood, and now that blood will again move to the next chamber of the heart, that is right auricle, through blood vessel which is known as pulmonary vein. Now pulmonary artery, the one which is carrying deoxygenated blood. Pulmonary vein, the one which is carrying oxygenated blood. Now this oxygenated blood will be moving from the lungs through the pulmonary vein into the left auricle. Here also left auricle will remain closed till it is filled. When it will be filled, the valves which are present here, which separates the left auricle and left ventricle, are the bicuspid valves, which are also known as mitral valves. Okay, so now I'll explain once again. The lungs, blood, it moves to the lungs for oxygenation. Oxygenation occurs here. After oxygenation through pulmonary vein, the blood enters into left auricle. The valve which separates left auricle and left ventricle is bicuspid valve, also known as mitral valve. The valve will open up. As soon as this left auricle will be filled up with the blood, the valve will open up. When the valve will open up, the blood will move to the next part, that is the left ventricle. Now, left ventricle, the blood is there in left ventricle. From the left ventricle, this is the last part of the heart where the blood goes. Now from the left ventricle, the blood will be picked up by the next blood vessel, that is known as aorta. Aorta or aorta, it can be pronounced anyway. So now this from left ventricle, the blood, it moves through aorta into whole of the body. Okay. The blood comes into the heart, it gets oxygenated in the lungs, come back to the heart, from the heart moves through aorta in whole of the body. This is the circulation of the heart, how the blood moves into the heart. Now I'll be revising once again the main parts of the heart. The first part, now with circulation, first part is the vena cava, superior vena cava or anterior vena cava, which carries the blood from head to heart. It carries collects deoxygenated blood, and passes it into the right auricle. The valve which is present between right auricle and right ventricle is known as tricuspid valve. Tricuspid valve open up and the blood is passed into right ventricle. From the right ventricle, the blood goes to lungs for oxygenation through a blood vessel known as pulmonary artery. Here remember one thing, pulmonary artery is the only artery which carries deoxygenated blood. Now after oxygenation, the blood moves to left auricle through the vessel known as pulmonary vein. Now remember here, pulmonary vein is the only vein which carries oxygenated blood. After this, from left auricle, the blood moves to left ventricle. The valves which are present here are the bicuspid or mitral valves. From left ventricle, the blood, it moves to the whole of the body and it passes through the vessel known as aorta. Okay, now if I say name the four main chambers of the heart, that is right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle and left ventricle. If I say name the different blood vessels which enter into the heart, that is vena cavas, that is posterior vena cava, anterior vena cava, pulmonary artery, it enters into the, pulmonary vein, it enters into the heart. The blood vessels which move out from the heart, that is pulmonary artery and aorta. Okay, this is all about the circulation of blood through the heart. In the next topic, I will be taking up the main questions which are related to this topic, and we'll be dealing with the other blood vessels which are related to the heart. Thank you.